This is First News on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's going to be a wickedly hot Wednesday on tap for the Twin Tiers. A heat advisory will be in effect again today from noon to 7 p.m. according to the National Weather Service. Heat index could soar to 98 parts of the Binghamton area. Hot temperatures and high humidity, again, could cause heat illnesses today. So people are being advised to drink plenty of fluid, stay in air-conditioned areas, stay out of the sun as much as possible, and be sure to check on relatives and neighbors. Remember, kids and pets should never be left unattended in vehicles under any circumstances. Basic forecast for today, sunny skies with a high of 91. An arduous and sometimes contentious process has now culminated with the Owego-Appalachian School District officially dropping the nickname Indians. On the eve of the new school year, the district formally announced it was moving to immediately transition to the Riverhawks mascot. Owego-Appalachian Riverhawks. Many students and residents of the Tioga County School District strongly opposed making the change. Some suggested they would never accept a change, insisting once an Indian, always an Indian. Ultimately, though, the state education department directed all school districts to stop using Native American mascots, nicknames, and logos. Whether the move was supported by local residents or not, districts that balked at the order faced the prospect of losing millions of dollars in state aid. The Owego-Appalachian announcement noted the state's ruling stressed the need to move away from mascots that can perpetuate stereotypes and cultural insensitivity. We have more details about what's ahead for the Owego-Appalachian School District and Owego Free Academy on our website, WNBF.com. A Tennessee-based retailer is continuing to expand its presence in the southern tier. Dollar General is preparing to open at least 3 new stores in Broome and Tioga counties. The company already operates 20,000 stores in the United States and Mexico. Dollar General last spring said it planned to open more than 1,000 new locations this year. The Johnson City Village Planning Board approved a site plan for a new store at 185 Main Street just over a month ago, and work is already underway in that building that at one point housed the Safari Pet Store. Renovations at the site began immediately after the approval vote. Coolers are expected to be delivered to the store next week, and the place likely will be open by the end of the month. An existing Dollar General store at 222 Main Street, just a little bit to the west, will be closed. Construction of a 10,640 square foot building for a Dollar General unit on Route 17C in Campville is nearing completion. That store is not far from a similar Dollar General store just across the river in Appalachian, a little over a mile away. A developer told the Town of Owego Planning Board the new Campville store will feature more food and coolers than other nearby Dollar General locations. Although several nearby residents expressed opposition to the project for a range of reasons, the plans were approved by the board. The store is expected to open next month. In western Tioga County, Dollar General is moving forward with its plans to build another store on Route 34 in the town of Barton. Some concerns about potential flooding have been expressed regarding that project. Lifeguards at Shenango Valley State Park are receiving some recognition. Local lifeguards who worked at the park over the summer have been awarded the Central New York State Region Jim Van Dusen Cup. According to the State Parks Department, that cup was established over a decade ago in memory of Mr. Van Dusen and his dedication to the state parks. His focus on the health and safety program was never ending. He took pride in the Central Region's water safety program and worked diligently to assist park patrons. The cup is awarded at the end of each New York State Parks beach season to the facility that performs to the highest standards and the best practices for the parks and the swimming areas. So congratulations to the lifeguards who worked at Shenango Valley State Park over the last few months. An end is finally in sight for the long-running saga involving the installation of new tennis courts at a Binghamton park. The seemingly simple project of replacing the existing rec park facility with a modern complex that could host a national tournament has been the source of ongoing frustration for city officials, engineering experts, and a local contractor, not to mention tennis lovers. Now that a new tournament has been scheduled at the Westside Park for the end of the month, pressure is on to get the courts open again. Workers were busy at the site on Labor Day making preparations for the finalizing of the surface work on the new courts. Blue paint was being applied to the court surface Tuesday afternoon. Striping for the courts is expected to be applied in the coming days. There will be some special events coming up at the park, including a family fun night that is scheduled for September 16th, and also a tournament, the Rec Park Racket Rumble, scheduled for September 30th. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Sunny today, high 91. Mainly clear tonight, low 69. Mostly sunny tomorrow with some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 88. Partly sunny Friday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 85. National Weather Service posting a heat advisory for the region from noon to 7 p.m. today. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
From the Galt Auto Studios, this is WNBF News Radio AM 1290. Also available at 92.1 FM. Reserve your new Toyota at Galt Toyota.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
612, this is First News Binghamton. I'm Don Morgan. All right. Fooled you for a millisecond. Bob Joseph in for the real Don Morgan on this 6th day of September. Good morning. We have plenty to tell you about today. Glad you're with us bright and early. If you haven't looked out your window yet, don't be surprised when you do so and see some fog. We have some patchy, dense fog around the region. And it will be with us probably for 3 hours or so. That's what the National Weather Service forecasters expect. Otherwise today, another sultry, sunny September day in the Binghamton area. Enjoy the steamy Parlor City. A heat advisory will be in effect again today from noon to 7. In many respects today will be similar to what we enjoyed on Tuesday. So the air temperature today could jump to about 91, but the heat index will make it feel like 98, maybe close to 100 in some places. So plan your day accordingly. Right now in downtown Binghamton, it's 69. Coming up on First News Binghamton, we'll have the latest in sports, some important news from the wide world of baseball. Also, money news. At about 6:23, approximately 10 minutes from now, Dr. Sanjay Gupta with A Better Life. Are you an early bird or a night owl? And what does that mean? What does that mean for your life? Dr. Gupta will address that. And later this hour, Dr. Kim Commando. I just promoted her. Dr. Kim Commando. She's probably listening and saying, Bob, I'm not a doctor. I am a technology guru, but I am no doctor. Anyway, Kim Commando will join us at about 6:53 and talk about how you can get the most out of ChatGPT. It's all coming up this hour on First News Binghamton, WNBF News Time, 6:14. WNBF Sports Time, 6:15.
Right-hander deals, swung on and ripped to left center field and deep. It is high, it is far, it is gone. That ball went over the bullpen into the crowd, and those are Garrett Cole's runs. Giancarlo, a Stantonian home run. Giancarlo, no si può stopparlo. He hits a 2-run home run, a bullet that actually went over the bullpen and into the bleachers, and the Yankees now take a 3-1 lead.
All right. John Sterling, we love you. And that was the call on the Fan last night from the stadium. Giancarlo Stanton smashed his 400th home run. Garrett Cole burnished his Cy Young Award credentials. New York beat the Tigers 5-1. DJ LeMahieu hit his second leadoff homer in 4 games, and Gleyber Torres had a 2-run double for the last-place Yankees, who have won 4 straight and 7 of the last 8 to get back to 500 for the first time since August 15th. Stanton's 2-run homer off reliever Jose Cisnero broke a 1-all tie in the 6th inning. Slugger reached 400 homers in 1,520 career games. That's the 4th fastest in Major League history, behind Mark McGwire, Babe Ruth, and Alex Rodriguez. Congratulations to Giancarlo Stanton. One other Yankees note, first baseman Anthony Rizzo will miss the remainder of the season with post-concussion syndrome. New York manager Aaron Boone said Rizzo is doing well and showing improvement, but hasn't been cleared to play and is still scheduled for another checkup in a couple of weeks. In Washington, Pete Alonso hit his 42nd homer, and Brandon Nimmo went deep twice to back a sharp outing from Jose Quintana. And the Mets thumped the Nationals 11-5. Francisco Alvarez hit a 3-run shot in the first inning, and Francisco Lindor also homered for the Mets. So again, a big game, big win for the Mets last night on the road in D.C. 11-5. Rumble Ponies are on the road this week as they started the first of 6 scheduled games in Hartford. Binghamton fell to the Yard Goats 6-1. Ponies snapped their season-long 7-game winning streak. The Rumble Ponies took the lead early in the game, top of the first inning. Luisangel Acuna reached base on an error and later scored on a sac fly from Jeremiah Jackson, which gave Binghamton a 1-0 lead, but that was all the scoring last night for Binghamton. Again, the final was the Yard Goats 6, the Rumble Ponies 1. Goats and Ponies play again tonight. You'll be able to hear the action with coverage beginning at 6:55 here on WNBF with Jacob Wilkins. WNBA last night, New York got past Dallas 94-93. That's the latest in sports from News Radio. WNBF News Time, 6:18.
WNBF.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Are you an early bird or a night owl? The scientific consensus is your sleep chronotype is inherited. Still, though, you might be able to tweak it. More on that in just a second. But first, there was this new study out of Finland which found people who prefer to go to bed and get up later are also more likely to have unhealthy habits that could lead to early death. According to the study's lead author, the increased risk of mortality associated with being clearly an evening person appears to be mainly accounted for by a larger consumption of tobacco and alcohol. No surprise. Previous research found night owls were also more sedentary, had lower aerobic fitness levels, and burned less fat at rest and while active even as compared to early birds. So if you want to shift your biological clock earlier, start your day with lots of natural light. That'll help reset your body's internal clock. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep. And a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements. Learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better. Night after night. Sleep next level. Only from Sleep Number. It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday.
Labor Day savings are here at Lowe's. Get up to an additional $1,500 off select major kitchen appliances. And save $100 off select laundry pairs, priced $1,396 or more. Plus, make your big purchases easy with Lowe's Pay, our new flexible buy now, pay later payment option. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/6. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. Subject to credit approval.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta every weekday morning right here on First News Binghamton at 6:22. Coming up in a moment, we'll have some money news and then entertainment news from ABC's Jason Nathanson. If you're just waking up, good morning. Bob Joseph in for Don Morgan. First News Binghamton. Today will be foggy to start in many parts of the Twin Tiers, then sunny and steamy, high 91. But the heat index could soar to 98.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Business news on a Wednesday morning. Shares open mostly lower in Europe and Asia. Shares were mixed as Chinese stocks today were lifted by hopes for further support for the country's faltering property market. The story for Wall Street, at the moment, things aren't looking that well, with Dow futures down 33 and NASDAQ futures down 45. United Airlines says a software update caused a glitch that briefly prevented its flights nationwide from taking off. The airline said it was not a cybersecurity issue. The FAA says United asked it to stop all its departures. The FAA said United crews were unable to contact airline dispatchers through normal means. That issue was limited to United and its subsidiaries. The EPA is delaying plans to tighten air quality standards for smog despite a recommendation by a scientific advisory panel to lower air pollution limits to protect public health. EPA Administrator Michael Regan's decision means one of the agency's most important air quality regulations won't be updated until after the presidential election. The decision avoids an election year battle with industry groups and Republicans who've complained about what they consider overly intrusive EPA rules on power plants, refineries, cars, and other polluters. This is the second time in 12 years a Democratic administration has put off a new ozone standard before an election year. Ground-level ozone rule also was delayed in 2011. And the federal government is taking a big step toward forcing a defiant Tennessee company to recall 52 million airbag inflators that could explode, hurl shrapnel, and injure or kill people. The NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, has said it has made an initial decision that the inflators made by ARC Automotive and under license by another company are defective, so a public hearing is planned for next month. That's a required step before deciding to seek a court-ordered recall. And that's some money news for you on this Wednesday morning from News Radio, WNBF News Time, 626.
It's wonderful.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
ABC Entertainment News.
Freddie Mercury fans, today's the day you've been saving for. Sotheby's is auctioning off a bunch of rare stuff belonging to the Queen frontman. Among the highlights, Mercury's Yamaha Baby Grand Piano, on which he wrote songs including Bohemian Rhapsody. That's expected to fetch £2 to £3 million.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
There are also handwritten lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody, We Are the Champions, and more. Even his Tiffany mustache comb. Money from the auction will be donated to the Mercury Phoenix Trust and the Elton John AIDS Foundation. It's double number ones for Zach Bryan. His duet with Casey Musgraves, I Remember Everything, tops the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. It's the first number one for both artists. Bryan's self-titled new album is also number one on the Billboard 200 album chart. Taylor Swift's upcoming concert movie has the potential to earn $100 million or more in its opening weekend. Some experts are predicting it's out October 13th. And DJ and actor Idris Elba is 51 today. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Well, happy birthday. And if you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. Make it a very special September 6th. It is your special day, after all. Coming up, news. This is First News Binghamton at 6:29.
Did the kids...
WNBF Binghamton.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's 69 in downtown Binghamton at 6:30. We have some dense fog around the Twin Tiers this morning. Fog will burn off in the next 2 or 3 hours, and then a sunny, sultry day with a high of 91. A National Weather Service heat advisory will be in effect throughout the afternoon, be from noon to 7 p.m. A heat advisory with the heat index soaring to close to 100. Took decades, but a man who has been behind bars for the better part of his life for a crime he did not commit is now free. Leonard Mack's exoneration came on his 72nd birthday, and he was grateful to the Innocence Project for its help in vacating his 1976 sentence. We get more on the story from ABC's Andrea Fujii.
It wasn't until the Innocence Project recently took up his case, partnering with the DA's office, and used a method not available at the time of trial, DNA evidence testing. Those results cleared Mack and identified the real suspect, a convicted sex offender who confessed to the crime. In court, Mack tearfully explained how painful it's been to live with the stigma of his conviction.
Now I can truly say that I'm free.
The judge, stepping off the bench to hug Mack, said vacating his sentence has been the honor of her career.
A green dye attack on some New Jersey pools left a hotel manager feeling the summer blues. Then she saw red after it happened several times.
Near Atlantic City, a hotel spending thousands of dollars draining and cleaning its pool after someone repeatedly used a drone to drop green dye packs into the water. Galloway Township Quality and Manager Sandra Woolston and her guests exasperated.
The girls are standing here like, oh my God, we want to go swim. Some of them were crying. I was like, are you kidding me?
That pool would have to be cleaned again.
I myself cried.
Dye packs also dropped into private pools in the area. Enter the FAA. They chased the drone down with one of their own, leading them to a local business and the owner, who's now facing criminal mischief charges. Dave Packer, ABC News.
WNBF News Time, 6:32. An end is finally in sight for the long-running saga involving the installation of the new tennis courts at Rec Park on Binghamton's west side. Project sounded simple and straightforward enough when it was announced back in 2019. But here we are, almost 4 years later, and the tennis courts still aren't ready. However, they could be ready by the end of the month. It looks that way at this point. A new tournament has been scheduled for the park at the end of September, so the pressure is on to get those courts open. Workers, in fact, were busy at the site on Labor Day, making preparations for the final surface work for those new courts. Blue paint was being applied to the court surface Tuesday afternoon, and striping for the courts probably will be applied over the next couple of days. Broom Bituminous Products of Vestal had been hired to replace the Rec Park tennis courts. Mayor Cram said the surface of the new courts, though, didn't live up to the city's expectations. So the original surface was ripped up. Crews have been busy trying to address the issues that have prevented tennis players from using the facility. An annual professional tennis tournament that had been a fixture at Rec Park for about 3 decades now has been permanently canceled, but an organization has announced it plans to hold a doubles-only tournament, which it's calling the Rec Park Racket Rumble on September 30th. There also is a family fun night that's planned for tennis lovers at Rec Park on September 16th. We have more details on our website, WNBF.com. In Tioga County, we now know the Owego Appalachian Indians are history, and the district's teams will be known as the Riverhawks. It was made official. News release was put out Tuesday afternoon, so this process is officially over, although now it's time to come up with a new logo and a rebranding program. Many students and residents of the school district strongly oppose the change. Some have said they would never accept it. They said once an Indian, always an Indian. Well, Indians are gone. Just a memory. State Education Department directed all New York school districts to stop using Native American mascots, nicknames, and logos, whether or not the move was supported by residents. The Owego Appalachian announcement noted the state's ruling stressed the need to move away from mascots that can perpetuate stereotypes and cultural insensitivity. Philadelphia is getting a new police commissioner. The mayor said the city's police commissioner, Daniel Outlaw, is going to step down this month to take a leadership position with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Police Commissioner Outlaw leaves after a turbulent 3 years on the job that spans the country's recent clashes over race and policing. She's leaving as Mayor Jim Kenney's 2 terms in office wind down. WNBF News Time, 6:36. Now the forecast, as we mentioned a moment ago, the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for the Binghamton area today from noon to 7. Forecast this morning, patchy dense fog. Otherwise today will be sunny, high 91. Mainly clear tonight, low 69. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a chance of showers and some thunderstorms, high 88. Partly sunny, not quite as hot on Friday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, the high 85. Right now it's 69 in downtown Binghamton. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:38 at WNBF. I'm Bob Joseph, in for Don Morgan on First News Binghamton, and a program notes. Our live local talk program will be on this morning. However, due to operational requirements, it'll be 2 hours today instead of 3 hours. So we will start the talk program, Binghamton Now, after the 10 o'clock news. So what you do with your 9 o'clock hour is your personal choice. You don't need to tell us, actually. We respect your privacy. However, you are expected to be properly seated for the talk show after the 10 o'clock news. So you have a bonus hour today, and you don't need to listen to the local talk show because it's not going to start till an hour later than usual. Just thought you'd like to know. By the way, tell your friends and also let the kids know. I know a lot of kids were probably thinking about skipping school and listening to the talk show. Well, you can go to your 9 o'clock classes, but kids, make sure that you're listening to 92.1 FM or 1290 AM right after the 10 o'clock news so you can be fully informed. That way you'll be the smartest kid in class. Thanks to WNBF. Coming up here on First News Binghamton, we'll have some sports news. Big night for the Yankees. Big night for the Mets. A big night for the Rumble Ponies. So I'll let you know how our favorite teams did. I was looking at the Rumble Ponies baseball schedule, and it's just one of those, realizations. Happens every year in September, and you say, oh my gosh, the baseball season is almost gone. And that's true. That's true. It seems the season just started, and here we are a week from Tuesday. That's right. The final series of the Rumble Ponies regular season is going to be next week, and they'll play 6 games against Reading. So if you haven't seen many Binghamton baseball games this season, you better take a close look at your schedule next week so you can see some games and support the Rumble Ponies. I've been to several Binghamton baseball games over the last few months, and I've enjoyed them all. The outcomes weren't necessarily what I was expecting. You always go into a Rumble Ponies game expecting a big win. Hey, sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but you still have a lot of fun. And that's the whole point of going out to the ballpark, is having fun, watching some good baseball, seeing some future Mets players or perhaps future players for other teams. And you could say, hey, I remember when he played in Binghamton back in 23. So again, the baseball season for Binghamton fans coming to a close soon. By the way, the Mets have started a 6-game series in Connecticut. They'll be playing Hartford again tonight. We'll have details about how their game went last night. That'll be coming up momentarily right here on First News Binghamton. Also coming up, we'll have some money news and Kim Commando with her Wednesday Tech Report. She'll give you some information about how she thinks you can get the most out of ChatGPT. So if you've been thinking about trying to do something with this AI program called ChatGPT, Kim Commando may have some pointers for you coming up in just over 10 minutes here on News Radio WNBF.
Good Shepherd.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
Fall is a great time to go camping in New York State. The air is crisper, mornings are more pleasant, and the views are clearer because of the lack of humidity. In the fall, campgrounds are less crowded, and you'll find it invigorating to be outdoors with the cooler weather and the changing leaves, enjoying cozy evenings around the campfire and in your sleeping bag. You'll also find that hiking and other outdoor recreation activities are more pleasant in the fall. It's a prime season for wildlife spotting, and you will certainly enjoy a serious decrease in bugs. To learn more about fall camping in New York State, and for a listing of state-run and private campgrounds, visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com or dial 1-800-CALLNYS. That's 1-800-CALL-New York State. The joy of autumn camping. It's easy to love New York.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:45, First News Binghamton on your Wednesday morning. Let's take a look at sports.
Here's a 1-0. Swing and a drive well hit to left. Forget it. This is headed towards the Capitol. It is long gone deep into the lower left field stands. Home run number 42 for Pete Alonso. A solo homer with the sacrifice fly in the first inning. He now has 102 runs batted in. And the onslaught continues here in Washington. Mets 9, Nationals 1.
And that was the call on News Radio 880 WCBS. Pete Alonso hitting a home run to left field in the top of the fifth inning last night. So that was his 42nd homer. Brandon Nimmo went deep twice to back a sharp outing by Jose Quintana. And the Mets thumped the Nationals 11-5. So a big win for New York in the nation's capital. And for the Yankees, also some good news. The Yankees had a big win last night with a memorable home run from Giancarlo Stanton. He smashed his 400th home run. And Garrett Cole burnished his Cy Young Award credentials. New York beat the Tigers 5-1 in the Bronx. So congratulations to Giancarlo Stanton. Of course, not just a regular home run, a Stantonian home run, leading New York to that 5-1 win. Rumble Ponies on the road against the Yard Goats, a bunch of animals in Connecticut last night at the Ball Yard. The farm report shows that Yard Goats defeated the Rumble Ponies 6-1. Not a lot of productivity, unfortunately, last night for Binghamton. Ponies took the lead early in the game, top of the first, with Lisandro Acuna reaching base on an error and later scoring on a sacrifice fly from Jeremiah Jackson. So Binghamton took the early 1-0 lead, but that was all the scoring for the Ponies last night. Again, they lost to Hartford. The final was 6-1. Two teams will play again tonight, and coverage will begin at 6:55 here on News Radio WNBF with Jacob Wilkins. So tune in, see if they can get another winning streak going. Last night with the Wasps, Binghamton snapped its season-long 7-game winning streak, so they've been doing quite nicely lately. The record now is... Let me just double-check. The record, I believe they're now 67 and... Hold on, I should double check first. Yeah, they're now 67-58. So Rumble Ponies been doing well lately. That's the latest in sports from News Radio, WNBF News Time 6:48. Coming up, we'll have some money news, and in about 5 minutes, Kim Commando will talk about ChatGPT and how you might be able to use it productively.
Route 81.
School, grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, the gym, to the airport to pick up loved ones, to the kids' soccer games, piano lessons, out for movie night, to hear your favorite band in the city, over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and on last year's amazing road trip. Your vehicle takes you so many places. Protect it. When you leave your vehicle, remember to always take your keys or key fob with you and lock the doors. If you suspect auto theft, contact the National Insurance Crime Bureau at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB, or visit our website at www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
And 6:50, and it is time for Money News here on News Radio, WNBF. Checking out Wall Street futures at the moment, things are still on the negative side. Dow futures in the red, minus 54. NASDAQ futures also in the red, down 45. We'll see how things go when trade begins in about 2.5 hours on Wall Street. Saudi Arabia and Russia have agreed to extend their oil production cuts through the end of the year. The announcements from Riyadh and Moscow today said the two countries would trim 1.3 million barrels of crude out of the global market. Their move pushed benchmark crude oil above $90 a barrel in afternoon trading, a price unseen in the market since last November. It could increase costs for motorists at gas stations and put new pressure on Saudi Arabia's relationship with the United States. President Biden warned Saudi Arabia last year there would be unspecified consequences for the kingdom partnering with Russia on cuts as Moscow wages war on Ukraine. A business dispute that has pulled ESPN and other Disney-owned companies off cable systems for 15 million households continues. Both companies are taking the unusual step of directing customers to look elsewhere for their favorite networks. Charter Communications operates Spectrum Cable, and Disney has sent customers to live TV streaming services. Charter's case, they are offering a special deal through a streaming service. With customers continuing to pull the plug from traditional cable packages, Charter says Disney has to change the way it does business, including offering people more freedom to pick and choose channels they want and not have to pay extra for access to the ad-supported streaming services. See what happens. A lot of people are taking a really dim view of not being able to watch some of their favorite ESPN programs, sports, some other things. They want it, and they can't get it. At least not on Spectrum Cable at the moment, as that dispute lingers on. It's the latest money news for you on this Wednesday morning on First News Binghamton, WNBF News Time, 6:52.
Innovation refunds.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:53, time to talk tech with Kim Commando.
To get the most out of ChatGPT and to protect yourself from its many flaws, here's how I use it. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by ExpressVPN. Secure your online data and get 3 extra months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. After months and months of tinkering with ChatGPT, Bing, and Bard, here's what I've learned. You must ask the right questions in the right way. Their answers are always believable, but get this, they're reliable maybe 60% of the time. They're best at coming up with new ideas. Not so great for important reports and precise research. Never ask a chatbot just once about how to do something. Ask it a few times, using different phrases each and every time. Never rely on any chatbot for important factual data. They're notorious for just making things up. But when it comes to cooking, feed it what you have in the fridge and it's going to spit out recipes, even pick the best wine to go along with it. Get TechSmart the easy way and join over 500,000 folks with my free newsletter at getkim.com. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing. Did you know every week nearly 50 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. linkedin.com/Kim.
And Kim Commando is heard every weekday morning right here on First News Binghamton on WNBF 92.1 FM. 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF.com. More tech news coming up in less than an hour. Mike Dabosky from ABC with his Wednesday Tech Trends Report, focusing on new mini EVs. I'll have to tune in for that. Mini EVs. Are these like little Matchbox cars, or I think I know what they are. Little Matchbox cars. Anyway, Tech Trends coming up at about 7:53. That's next hour right here on News Radio WNBF. Good morning. We've got all the news you need right here on First News Binghamton. ABC will have a national and world update coming up in just about 3.5 minutes.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:58 at WNBF, and according to the Albany Times Union, more than 50 security guards working at hotels that have been converted into migrant shelters lack the proper licensing to do their jobs. The Times Union is reporting the results of an audit by New York State. One state official sent information about the alleged violations to the company based in New York City. It's a private firm called DocGo, and to two other local companies that are providing security services for the migrants who are staying at hotels in the Albany and Buffalo areas. Companies were told they have 2 business days to fix the situation, according to letters that have been sent to them. A state official said the department finds it's in the public interest to provide preliminary results for immediate and appropriate action. So they said basically, shape up or we're going to have to find someone else to do the job. If you're not able to do the job correctly, then we'll try to find someone who's able to do that. 6:59. This is Wednesday morning. First News Binghamton on WNBF.
News Radio 1290 AM, WNBF Binghamton. Now on 92.1 FM, W221 EJ Binghamton, a Town Square media station.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's going to be a wickedly hot Wednesday on tap for the Twin Tiers. A heat advisory will be in effect again today from noon to 7 p.m. according to the National Weather Service. Heat index could soar to 98 parts of the Binghamton area. Hot temperatures and high humidity, again, could cause heat illnesses today, so people are being advised to drink plenty of fluids, stay in air-conditioned areas, stay out of the sun as much as possible, and be sure to check on relatives and neighbors. Remember, kids and pets should never be left unattended in vehicles under any circumstances. Basic forecast for today, sunny skies with a high of 91. An arduous and sometimes contentious process has now culminated with the Owego-Appalachian School District officially dropping the nickname Indians. On the eve of the new school year, the district formally announced it was moving to immediately transition to the Riverhawks mascot. Owego Appalachian Riverhawks. Many students and residents of the Tioga County School District strongly opposed making the change. Some suggested they would never accept a change, insisting once an Indian, always an Indian. Ultimately, though, the state education department directed all school districts to stop using Native American mascots, nicknames, and logos. Whether the move was supported by local residents or not, districts that balked at the order faced the prospect of losing millions of dollars in state aid. The Owego Appalachian announcement noted the state's ruling stressed the need to move away from mascots that can perpetuate stereotypes and cultural insensitivity. We have more details about what's ahead for the Owego Appalachian School District and Owego Free Academy on our website, WNBF.com. A Tennessee-based retailer is continuing to expand its presence in the southern tier. Dollar General is preparing to open at least 3 new stores in Broome and Tioga counties. The company already operates 20,000 stores in the United States and Mexico. Dollar General last spring said it planned to open more than 1,000 new locations this year. The Johnson City Village Planning Board approved a site plan for a new store at 185 Main Street just over a month ago, and work is already underway in that building that at one point housed the Safari Pet Store. Renovations at the site began immediately after the approval vote. Coolers are expected to be delivered to the store next week, and the place likely will be open by the end of the month. An existing Dollar General store at 222 Main Street, just a little bit to the west, will be closed. Construction of a 10,640 square foot building for a Dollar General unit on Route 17C in Campville is nearing completion. That store is not far from a similar Dollar General store just across the river in Appalachian, a little over a mile away. A developer told the Town of Owego Planning Board the new Campville store will feature more food and coolers than other nearby Dollar General locations. Although several nearby residents expressed opposition to the project for a range of reasons, the plans were approved by the board. The store is expected to open next month. In western Tioga County, Dollar General is moving forward with its plans to build another store on Route 34 in the town of Barton. Some concerns about potential flooding have been expressed regarding that project. Lifeguards at Shenango Valley State Park are receiving some recognition. Local lifeguards who worked at the park over the summer have been awarded the Central New York State Region Jim Van Dusen Cup. According to the State Parks Department, that cup was established over a decade ago in memory of Mr. Van Dusen and his dedication to the state parks. His focus on the health and safety program was never ending. He took pride in the Central Region's water safety program and worked diligently to assist park patrons. The cup is awarded at the end of each New York State Parks beach season to the facility that performs to the highest standards and the best practices for the parks and the swimming areas. So congratulations to the lifeguards who worked at Shenango Valley State Park over the last few months. An end is finally in sight for the long-running saga involving the installation of new tennis courts at a Binghamton park. The seemingly simple project of replacing the existing rec park facility with a modern complex that could host a national tournament has been the source of ongoing frustration for city officials, engineering experts, and a local contractor, not to mention tennis lovers. Now that a new tournament has been scheduled at the Westside Park for the end of the month, pressure is on to get the courts open again. Workers were busy at the site on Labor Day making preparations for the finalizing of the surface work on the new courts. Blue paint was being applied to the court surface Tuesday afternoon. Striping for the courts is expected to be applied in the coming days. There will be some special events coming up at the park, including a family fun night that is scheduled for September 16th, and also a tournament, the Rec Park Racket Rumble, scheduled for September 30th. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Sunny today, high 91. Mainly clear tonight, low 69. Mostly sunny tomorrow with some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 88. Partly sunny Friday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 85. National Weather Service posting a heat advisory for the region from noon to 7 p.m. today. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
From the Galt Auto Studios, this is WNBF News Radio AM 1290. Also available at 92.1 FM. We're still saving the Southern Tier money at Galt Toyota.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:11. That's 11 minutes past the hour. Bob Joseph on First News Binghamton, in for Don Morgan. Hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. It should be a nice summery day, as it should be, because after all, it still is summer officially. Everybody tends to think, well, after Labor Day, summer is gone. Well, yeah, for the most part. Kids back to school. Most people back at work, except for Don Morgan. But you know what I'm saying. Things start to return to normal on the Tuesday and Wednesday after Labor Day. And then before you know it, it'll be Thanksgiving and then the year-end holidays and taking a bus down to Times Square so you could see what all the fuss is about for New Year's Eve. So much to do. The year seems to have flown by. It's my observation. The first 8 months of this year seem to have gone by quickly. And certainly a lot has happened so far this year. And even in the final 4 months of the year, WNBF News is here to cover it all, the good, the bad, and the in-between. We give you the news on the air at 92.1 FM and 1290 AM, online at WNBF.com, and more people stay connected using the free WNBF app. So however you listen to us, if you're a traditionalist and you're listening using the radio in the kitchen or the bedroom or the bathroom or the radio in your car, or if you're using some other device, we appreciate it. Hey. I think right now, for so many people, the phone effectively is the new transistor radio. It's amazing these days how many people are listening to our programs, including the talk program, Binghamton Now, using their phones thanks to the app, or sometimes they just punch into WNBF.com. However you're listening, we're glad you do. I hope you make it a daily habit. By the way, speaking of Binghamton Now, our talk program, it will start an hour later than usual today. So don't you worry. Don't fret when you tune in at 9:10 and say, where in the world is Bob Joseph? Bob Joseph will be along with the talk show an hour later than usual today. So it'll be a 2-hour edition of Binghamton Now starting after the 10 o'clock news. WNBF News Time 7:14 coming up next. Sports.
Breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:15, it's sports time on First News Binghamton.
Right-hander deal swung on and ripped to left center field and deep. It is high, it is far, it is gone. That ball went over the bullpen into the crowd, and those are Garrett Cole's runs. Giancarlo, a Stantonian home run. Giancarlo, no si può stopparlo. He hits a 2-run home run, a bullet that actually went over the bullpen and into the bleachers. And the Yankees now take a 3-1 lead.
A Sterling-esque call on the Fan last night from the Bronx. Giancarlo Stanton smashing his 400th home run. Garrett Cole burnished his Cy Young Award credentials. The Yankees beating the Tigers 5-1. DJ LeMahieu hit his second leadoff homer in 4 games. Gleyber Torres had a 2-run double for the last-place Yankees, who have actually won 4 straight and 7 of the last 8 to get back to 500 for the first time since August 15th. Bad news for Yankees fans. First baseman Anthony Rizzo will miss the remainder of the season with post-concussion syndrome. Manager Aaron Boone said Rizzo is doing well and showing improvement, but he has not been cleared to play and is still scheduled for another checkup in a couple of weeks. In Washington, Pete Alonso hit his 42nd homer, and Brandon Nimmo went deep twice in a big win for the Mets. Mets easily handled the Nationals last night, 11-5. Washington lost its 6th straight game, matching its worst losing streak of the season. In Connecticut, the Rumble Ponies started their 6-game series against the Yard Goats. And, well, good news is they have 5 additional games to play in Hartford. Last night, things didn't go quite as well as we might have liked to see. For Binghamton, Rumble Ponies were able to score only once, and that was early in the game. In the top of the first, Luis Angel Acuna reached base on an error and later scored on a sacrifice fly from Jeremiah Jackson. So Binghamton took the early lead 1-0, but that's all they could muster last night. The teams meet again tonight, and WNBF coverage begins at 6:55 with Jacob Wilkins. Also in sports news on this Wednesday morning, WNBA action. New York got past Dallas 94-93. Brianna Stewart scored 40 points to set the WNBA single-season scoring record. The Liberty held off the Wings 94-93 for their 7th straight victory. Stewart became the all-time leader with 861 points after her 15th point of the night. She reached 40-plus points for the 4th time this season. She also had 10 rebounds. New York moved within a game of first-place Las Vegas with home games against Los Angeles and Washington remaining. So there you go. Congratulations to Brianna Stewart. It's the latest in sports from News Radio, WNBF News Time, 7:19.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:21 Wednesday morning. This is First News Binghamton. Time for Money News with with ABC's Daria Albinger.
It's a short week for the markets. They were closed Monday for Labor Day. Earnings reports are coming to an end for this season, and there are only a few economic reports. One will be released this afternoon, the Fed's Beige Book. Crude prices could get a lot of attention. Prices spiked as Saudi Arabia and Russia agreed to extend their voluntary oil production cuts through the end of the year. Brent crude briefly went above $90 a barrel Tuesday before it closed at $89.32. There are just 8 days until more than 150,000 United Auto Workers members could walk off the job. They're still negotiating with General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, the parent company of Chrysler, and both sides say they are far apart. The union's demanding a 46% pay raise, a 32-hour work week with 40 hours pay, and a restoration of traditional pensions. The Big Three still says that's unreasonable given the current state of the business. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
And taking a look at Wall Street futures right now, still on the downside. Dow futures are down 62 and NASDAQ futures are down 28. We'll have more money news later this hour here on First News Binghamton and business bulletins throughout the day from ABC News. We'll keep you informed. By the way, if you want more local business news, some stories you're not likely to find elsewhere on a timely basis, be sure to check our website, WNBF.com. We'll let you know about openings, closings, expansions, and other intriguing business developments. WNBF.com, your local news source. 7:23, I'm Bob Joseph, in for Don Morgan. You're listening to First News Binghamton on 92.1 FM. 1290 AM and streaming at WNBF.com.
People who are...
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:25 at WNBF. I'm Bob Joseph. Weather forecasters are keeping an eye on a tropical storm named Lee Lee is in the North Atlantic Ocean. That's according to the National Hurricane Center. The tropical storm had sustained winds of 65 miles an hour. At this point, it's heading toward Puerto Rico. And you look at the path right now, by perhaps Monday or Tuesday, it would be on target to strike Florida. But who knows what will happen. A lot can happen over the next few days, but that's one of the tropical developments that is being monitored right now by weather forecasters. As you know, a lot can happen in terms of weather in September and October. Tropical storms and the remnants of hurricanes, for the most part, they tend to affect the southeast, but we have seen what they can do here in New York and Pennsylvania. So keep an eye on things. In the meantime, closer to home today, and of greater consequence, it'll be very warm again today. Heat advisory in effect today from noon until 7. So if you have stuff you really, really think you need to do outdoors today, best advice would be to try to get it done sooner rather than later. If you're able to do it soon, you might be happier. Let's put it that way. I know I would be happier. Fortunately, I don't have to mow the lawn today. No, I managed to get to that. It doesn't need it yet, although it probably will in a couple of days. Right now in downtown Binghamton, it's 69. We expect a high today of 91, with the heat index topping out at about 98 across most of the Twin Tiers. Time to check in with Richard Cantu. He's always focused on the White House.
Focus on the White House. First Lady Jill Biden's second bout with COVID comes at an awkward time for the president.
President Biden is scheduled to travel to India on Thursday. The White House was asked Tuesday if there are contingency plans under consideration should he test positive for COVID. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
We do not have any changes to any updates or changes to his travel. The president tested negative yesterday. He tested negative this morning, and he has no symptoms. He's feeling good.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
The president bestowed the Medal of Honor on retired Army Captain Larry Taylor. In Vietnam in 1968, Taylor flew his helicopter into heavy enemy fire to save 4 soldiers. This adds to a long list of accomplishments.
He received a Silver Star, a Bronze Star, 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, and 43 Air Medals. Thank God he's not putting them all on his chest. He'd have trouble standing.
Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Always enjoy the presidential sense of humor. I guess he picked that up somewhere in Scranton a few decades ago. We'll be talking about the White House, and I wouldn't be surprised we delve into politics later today on Binghamton Now. We can talk about Binghamton and beyond on our talk show. And again, today it'll be on from 10 to noon right here on News Radio. WNBF News Time, 7:29.
Attention, WNBF Binghamton.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's 69 in downtown Binghamton. It's 7:30. Another heat advisory will be in effect today, according to the National Weather Service, with the heat index soaring to close to 100 today in parts of the Twin Tiers. That heat advisory will be in effect today from noon to 7 p.m. The guidance is, as usual, drink plenty of fluids, stay in an air-conditioned room if you are able to, stay out of the sun, and also check up on relatives and neighbors to make sure they're okay. Plus, shouldn't have to say this, but plus, keep kids and pets out of vehicles. You shouldn't be in vehicles anyway, regardless of weather, but especially with conditions the way they will be later today, that could be very, very dangerous. Do take some extra precautions if you'll be working or spending time outdoors. It's better to be safe instead of sorry. WNBF News Time, 7:31. Enrique Tarrio has been sentenced for his role in the riots that took place at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. The one-time leader of the Proud Boys received the harshest sentence so far, 22 years. But as ABC's M. Wynn tells us, he may have gotten off easy in comparison to what the Justice Department prosecutors had wanted.
Tarrio was not present at the riot, but prosecutors still say he played a key role, arguing Tarrio watched the violence unfold at 2:38 p.m., posting on social media, "Don't expletive leave." It's the harshest sentence handed down among any of the more than 1,100 individuals charged so far in connection to January 6th. Prosecutors had asked for 33 years.
In his fourth secret visit to Ukraine since the Russian invasion began, Secretary of State Antony Blinken received a warm welcome from Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. Blinken arrived by train in Ukraine a few hours ago after landing in Poland on Tuesday. The Secretary's presence asserts the United States' commitment to helping the country push out Russian troops and rebuild.
We've seen good progress in the counteroffensive. It's very heartening. We want to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs not only to succeed in the counteroffensive, but has what it needs for the long term.
Blinken is expected to announce more than $1 billion in new U.S. funding for Ukraine war efforts. He'll meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky in the next few hours. WNBF News Time, 7:33. Well, we've been monitoring things at Rec Park at the tennis courts. It seems like we've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years. And now we have some apparently good news to bring you. Tennis could be played at Rec Park perhaps later this month. That's the way things are shaping up anyway. The seemingly very simple, straightforward project of replacing the old tennis courts with a modern complex has been beset with all sorts of delays, problems with moisture and the surface not being just right. In fact, they at one point ripped up the new surface to put on a new one. Now we see workers extremely busy. In fact, they were busy even on Labor Day making preparations for the final surface work at the new tennis courts at Rec Park. Blue paint was being applied to the court surface Tuesday afternoon, and now it appears that striping for the courts can be applied probably the next day or two. There is a need still for some additional fencing and lighting at the park. There are now banners up promoting tennis at Rec Park, including a family fun day that is set for September 16th, and also a tournament, the Rec Park Racket Rumble, is scheduled for September 30th. That is being sponsored by Tennis Charities of Binghamton. The annual professional tennis tournament that had been a fixture at Rec Park for nearly 3 decades has been permanently canceled. WeGo Appalachian has made it official. A new mascot and rebranding now underway, as at this point, starting right now, WeGo Appalachian will be cheered on as the Riverhawks. The nickname Indians has been formally dropped at the behest of the New York State Education Department. Many students and residents of the district have strongly opposed the change, and some have said they'll never accept it. They say once an Indian, always an Indian. Well, that may be their feeling, but the state has different ideas. The WeGo Appalachian announcement noted the state's ruling stressed there is a need to move away from mascots that can perpetuate stereotypes and cultural insensitivity. A committee of high school students had been working on the process of finding a new mascot. The group had been inundated with all sorts of suggestions, some pretty obvious and some pretty far out. In a final online poll of 3 potential names, Riverhawks received support from about 2/3 of the participants. WNBF News Time, 7:36. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service. A heat advisory will be in effect today from noon to 7 p.m. This morning, some patchy dense fog in parts of the Twin Tiers. Otherwise, sunny today, high 91. Mainly clear tonight, low 69. Mostly sunny tomorrow with some showers and thunderstorms, high 88. Partly sunny Friday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 85. And the outlook for the weekend, more comfortable. Could be a bit wet on Saturday, mostly cloudy with a few showers and thunderstorms. Saturday's high 80, mostly cloudy Sunday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 76. Right now it's 69 in downtown Binghamton at 7:37. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:38 at WNBF, WNBF.com. Bob Joseph with you. Those dollar stores seem to be popping up everywhere. Almost everywhere. And we have new information on our website about the next batch of Dollar General stores that will be popping up before you know it. Some people point out these Dollar General stores are sometimes located very close together, which is true. People from Dollar General say, yeah, we know where our stores are. We know there's a store a mile or 2 miles away or 3 miles away. We're very familiar with where our store sites are located, and yet we want more. We want more. And so they're building more. They can't stop building stores. So take a look at our website, WNBF.com. Where will the new Dollar General stores open? One will be opening probably in about 2 weeks here in Broome County. A couple more will be opening soon in Tioga County. And the way things are going now, with the Dollar General business plan, the company already has about 20,000 stores in the United States and Mexico. They may not stop opening stores. They may keep opening stores until further notice. So if you don't have a Dollar General store in your neighborhood, keep an eye open. Maybe they'll open one up down the street. The way things are going. Last spring, the guy who runs Dollar General in Tennessee said they were planning to open more than 1,000 new locations this year. And they already have opened hundreds of locations. I was talking with a person responsible for one of the sites where they're developing a new store, and he told me, he said, hey, once they get all the approvals, once they get the green light, they move fast. It's actually remarkable. So if you like Dollar General stores and find it difficult to walk to one, and before long, you probably, who knows, some people in Tioga County, they'll be able to walk to the Dollar General store across the street about a month from now. So anyway, take a look at that story. And, of course, more news on our website, WNBF.com. We always have interesting stories that we do for you. We actually are pleased to go out around the Triple Cities, talk to people, ask a few questions, get some information about things that are happening around here. And then we report on air at 92.1 FM and 1290 AM. And online at WNBF.com. Good morning. It's Wednesday, September 6th, and this is First News Binghamton. I'm Bob Joseph, in for Don Morgan, who is off this morning.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
With some of the steepest, twisty-turniest, most heart-pounding roller coasters and water slides around, along with plenty of gentler rides, New York State's amusement parks offer unparalleled summer thrills and terrific family fun. In the greater Niagara region, Six Flags Darien Lake boasts more than 50 rides, including 7 world-class roller coasters, the region's largest water park, and a 20,000-seat amphitheater. The Hudson Valley's Legoland New York Resort features 50 rides, shows, and attractions spread out over 150 acres. In the Adirondacks, make your own escape to the whopping 135 rides and attractions at Six Flags Great Escape. And in the Finger Lakes, discover the old-fashioned charm of Seabreeze Amusement Park, home of America's oldest continuously operating roller coaster. For more information on amusement parks in New York State, visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com. Great fun for all ages. It's easy to love New York.
Sometimes it seems the crises just keep coming for children. COVID, war, drought, and famine. They can seem downright relentless. But you know what? So can our response. When helping children unites us, we are a force to be reckoned with. Where there is help, there is hope. It's why UNICEF won't stop, ever. Learn more at unicefusa.org/we won't stop.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:44 at WNBF and WNBF.com. Of course, we're focusing a lot this week on school starting up again. Always seems to start up every September, pretty much like clockwork. And now I see yet another school district is taking steps to get cell phones under control. I don't know how many school districts in the Binghamton area will do this, but I see more and more school districts around the Syracuse area are putting new rules in place regarding cell phones. And the latest that I see now is in Onondaga County. West Genesee has new rules. It says students have to store their cell phones in their backpacks or in a pocket on the wall while in class. Seems like a good idea to me. According to Syracuse.com, another school district, Liverpool, adopted a similar policy last fall. And some other school districts in Onondaga County are adopting cell phone policies. In the Syracuse City School District, they also tell the young adults to please store your phone somewhere while class is underway. We don't need you distracted with your cell phone. WNBF News Time, 7:45. And it is time for sports on this Wednesday morning on First News Binghamton. It was a big night for Pete Alonso.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a drive well hit to left. Forget it. This is headed towards the Capitol. It is long gone deep into the lower left field stands. Home run number 42 for Pete Alonso. A solo homer with the sacrifice fly in the first inning. He now has 102 runs batted in. And the onslaught continues here in Washington. Mets 9, Nationals 1.
And that was the call on WCBS. Pete Alonso hitting a home run to left field in the top of the fifth. The Mets wound up having a big win over the Nationals last night, 11-5. Also, a big win last night for the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton smashed his 400th home run, and Garrett Cole burnished his Cy Young Award credentials in a big 5-1 victory in the Bronx over the Tigers. So, big wins for both New York teams last night. Fortunately for Binghamton baseball fans, things didn't go quite so well for the Rumble Ponies as they started their 6-game series against the Yard Goats in Hartford last night. Binghamton was only able to score a single run, and that was in the top of the first inning. Luis Angel Acuna reached base on an error and later scored on a sacrifice fly from Jeremiah Jackson. That gave Binghamton a 1-0 lead, but that was it for the scoring for the Rumble Ponies. They ultimately lost to Hartford. The final last night was 6-1. Teams will face each other again tonight, and WNBF coverage will begin at 6:55 with Jacob Wilkins. WNBA play last night. New York got past Dallas, 94-93. WNBF News Time, 7:48. 7:50 on First News Binghamton at WNBF, and we have business news for you. At this point, shares around the world have been mostly lower. Early trade on Wednesday That was the story in Europe. Lower stock performance generally in Wednesday trade. Asian shares were mixed. Chinese stocks were lifted by hopes for further support for that country's faltering property market. The story in Japan, the Nikkei index advanced, but most other regional markets fell. Wall Street futures at this point are looking down, a little gloomy as we look ahead for trade on Wall Street to begin around 9:30 this morning. The Dow futures are continuing to trend in the red. Dow futures are down 78 and NASDAQ futures are down 35. Oil prices are up. Crude oil prices pushed higher today with the latest reports that Saudi Arabia and Russia have agreed to extend their oil production cuts through the end of the year. And what this means is probably higher gas prices in the United States and elsewhere around the world. United Airlines says a software update caused by a glitch that briefly prevented its flights nationwide from taking off. That was a problem on Tuesday. The airline claims it was not a cybersecurity issue. The FAA said United asked it to stop all its departures. The agency said United crews were not able to contact airline dispatchers through normal means. The issue was limited to United and its subsidiaries. The European Union is targeting Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Facebook, along with TikTok, under new digital rules aimed at reining in the market power of online companies. The 6 companies were classed as online gatekeepers that must face the highest level of scrutiny under the 27-nation bloc's Digital Markets Act. The act amounts to a list of do's and don'ts that seeks to prevent tech giants from cornering new digital markets. The EU's Executive Commission says digital platforms can be listed as gatekeepers if they act as key gateways between businesses and consumers by providing core platform services. And that is the latest money news for you on News Radio. WNBF News Time, 7:53. Coming up, tech trends. What's going on with mini EVs? We'll find out in a moment on First News Binghamton.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Time for some tech news from ABC's Mike Dabosky.
From ABC News Tech Trends, the future of Mini's electric vehicles is not so mini. The Mini Cooper is entering its 5th generation, and while gas-powered versions are coming, we're first getting a look at the electric Cooper SE. Europe rates the small hatchback at up to 250 miles of range, but that figure's likely to come down when the car makes it to our shores.
The EPA range is closer to what real world is. That vehicle will probably get about 205 miles of range.
Auto journalist Roberto Baldwin says Mini may be known for the Cooper, but it's the brand's SUV, the Countryman, that's the top seller.
That's the one that people are buying. They go in to look at the Mini, they walk out with the Countryman.
That's also getting an electric version, plus both cars get a revamped circular infotainment screen.
It has an assistant named Spike. It's a little dog. On the background, you can put any picture you want. You can have a picture of yourself. You have a picture of your own dog. You can have a picture of your car in the car.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dabosky, ABC News.
I'll put a picture of my dogs, yeah. You bet I will. Tech Trends every weekday with Mike Dabosky from ABC. And, of course, for people really interested in tech developments, we have Kim Commando with her tech updates. You can hear her on WNBF. We'll hear from Kim Commando in about an hour. she has some tips about how you can actually use ChatGPT. Everybody talks about AI, artificial intelligence, but can it really help you? Or is it just something that you'll just have to listen to people talk about and never actually apply it to your own circumstances? Kim Commando will actually explain how you might be able to make some use of ChatGPT. That'll be coming up next hour, right here on First News Binghamton, WNBF News Time, 7:56.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
In addition to spectacular fall foliage, New York's autumn landscape is filled with an amazing variety of seasonal celebrations. September 21st through the 24th, witness the flight of dozens of hot air balloons in Queensbury at the 50th Annual Adirondack Balloon Festival. Garlic lovers will be heading to Saugerties September 30th and October 1st for the Hudson Valley Garlic Festival, one of the nation's top regional food festivals. On October 14th and 15th, Long Island's famous Oyster Festival will be drawing thousands to Oyster Bay for food and fun. For more information on these and other great fall events in New York State, visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com or dial 1-800-CALLNYS. So many ways to celebrate in autumn. It's easy to love New York.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:57 at WNBF and WNBF.com. A program note, if you like Binghamton Now as much as I do, you'll probably be interested in knowing that today it starts an hour later than usual. So instead of sitting back at 9 o'clock, listening to the news and then getting set for a thoughtful conversation, you can take 9 o'clock, that hour off. Go out and buy yourself an extra coffee and a couple of dozen donuts and enjoy responsibly. And then at 10 o'clock, be ready for the Wednesday edition of Binghamton Now. So Binghamton Now will be on today, but the start time is delayed by an hour. So we'll be on today from 10 to noon, but don't worry, plenty of opportunities to talk about local issues. Plenty of opportunities. If you have a desire to call in, we encourage you to call in, especially local topics. We don't have too many topical limits, but we encourage people, when possible, to focus on some local things because it is the only live local talk program you can hear on a daily basis around here. So make the best of it. With Binghamton Now, today from 10 to noon, right here on News Radio, WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, and you're always connected using the WNBF app. I've been reporting on the explosive growth of Dollar General, and I don't know what happened with the Dollar General truck on Highway 17 last night. I know it's not Highway 17. On Route 17 last night in Binghamton, but for some reason, I don't know, was it explosive growth or just a tractor-trailer fire? The whole back end of that truck seemed to go up in flames. There was a fire, and I'm looking at the coverage from 12 News, because they got some pictures. They sent a 12 News crew up there. And also they got some pictures from viewers. So it's a Dollar General truck that went up in flames around 7 o'clock last night near the McGatt Street exit from Route 17. Apparently no injuries, but still, what a mess, and it tied up traffic. So, I don't know, I guess another load of great stuff was damaged on its way to those Dollar General stores with that fire. It's 8 o'clock. Bob Joseph with you.